Hello everyone. In this recording, I will share what is the difference between statically determinate structure and statically indeterminate structure. So we have two types of structure: statically statically determinate determinate structure and statically indeterminate structure. Indeterminate structure. So we have to know what is the difference between determinate structure and indeterminate structure. In essay 1, structural analysis 1, we are only subjected to the analysis of statically determinate structure, and in essay 2 we are only subjected to analysis of statically indeterminate structure. The most common structure, the public building and the residential building, are the statically indeterminate structure. In order to analyze statically indeterminate structure, we have to know how to analyze statically determinate structure first. So in this video, I will just explain the difference between determinate and indeterminate. If a structure is analyzed, if a structure is analyzed by just using equations of equilibrium. So equations of equilibrium are summation of f of x, summation of f of y, and moment about any point equal to 0. So these are nothing but equations of equilibrium. What is the meaning of statically determined structure is if the structure is analyzed by just using equations of equilibrium, that structure is known as statically determined structure. And what is the meaning of statically indeterminate structure? If the structure is not analyzed by just using equations of equilibrium, that structure is called as statically indeterminate structure. So I will just share the example. I will just take a simply supported beam here, a simply supported beam. At A we have a hinge support, at B we have a roller support. So here uh, the reaction offered by hinge support is vertical reaction and horizontal reaction. We know from the basic that hinge support is offering two reaction, V and VB. At roller support, at roller support is offering only one reaction, VB. So how many unknowns we have here? We have three unknowns, and these three unknowns we can easily crack by using equations of equilibrium. So three unknowns and three equations of equilibrium we can easily calculate. So after calculating the reaction, the unknowns, we can find shear force and we can also find bending moment. So indirectly we are able to analyze the structure by just using equations of equilibrium. Now I will explain the example of statically indeterminate structure. Statically indeterminate structure, I will just take a simply supported beam, a beam supported on two hinge support A, B. You see here, A is offering two reaction and B is also offering two reaction. Now see here, you cannot calculate, you cannot crack the unknowns by just using equations of equilibrium. So how many equations of equilibrium you have? You have three equations of equilibrium equation. And how many unknowns you have here? You have four unknowns. So you cannot solve four unknowns by using three equations. So this structure is known as statically indeterminate structure. I can take the most common type of beam in the residential and public building. Almost all beams are fixed beam, means they are supported either side by fixed support. In the fixed support, we know from the basic, fixed support is offering three reaction: horizontal, vertical, and moment. Here also three reaction: vertical, horizontal and a moment. And you see how many unknowns we have here? We have 6 unknowns and we have 3 equations of equilibrium, and we cannot solve these 6 unknowns by using 3 equations of equilibrium. So this structure is known as statically indeterminate structure. So I will just define once again what is the meaning of statically determinate structure and indeterminate structure. The structure which can be analyzed by just using equations of equilibrium are known as statically determinate structure, and the structure which cannot be analyzed by just using equations of equilibrium, that structure is known as statically indeterminate structure. Thank you.